She's so pretty. Look at her. Ooh, she is pretty. She remember this. She remind me of this girl I used to hunch. This pretty girl named Mary. Ooh, yeah, she's pretty. We gonna name her Mary. Ain't that right, Mary? Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. And if you are not already a part of our Bella Book Club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about Mary Wilson's DreamGirl, My Life as a Supreme, Part 1. Before we get started, number one, please help me get this video to at least 500 likes, okay? Number two, I want you to stay tuned. Watch the video all the way through because I have an important announcement at the end that I think is going to serve my book club members very well. I was born on March 6, 1944 in Greenville, Mississippi, a small, quiet southern town near the Mississippi Delta. Let's talk about Mary Wilson, right? Mary Wilson was born March 6, 1944 in Greenville, Mississippi, okay? Her mammy name was Johnny Mae Wilson, okay? She said that she was born on a humid day. She was her mother's first child, okay? She had a little brother, but we'll talk about that later, okay? So she is her mother's first child, and her mother is having a whole anxiety attack because she is terrified of the pain. Oh, Lord, I don't want to have this baby because it's going to hurt when it come out. Girl, you should have thought about that before you let your baby father climb on top of you. She in her mammy's house, her grandma's house, all right? Her grandmother is irritated with Johnny Mae because the grandmother done had 7 kids, okay? I done had 7 kids. I done pushed 7 babies up out of me, and you around here hollering like somebody trying to kill you. It didn't matter because Mary Wilson's mammy thought that young Mary Wilson was trying to kill her, okay? In her mind. Oh, Lord, this baby gonna kill me. Mary Wilson's grandmother is hovering over top of Johnny Mae and be like, girl, if you don't push this baby up out of you, and so we can move on with our day. She irritated. So now they're waiting on the midwife to come through to help her with this baby, okay? Because back then, it was more often that a midwife would deliver the baby instead of taking the mother to the hospital because it cost a lot of money to do. My grandmother was actually a midwife. That's why she was able to deliver my baby sister around there to the first quarters in Washington, D.C., okay, we ain't need no hospital. We had my grandma. The midwife gets there. The midwife looks at the grandmother and say, I don't know what's going on with her and this baby. I don't know. She's trying to keep it inside of her. So the grandmother continues to be irritated. And she goes, Johnny Mae, if you don't push this baby up out of you, I'm going to whoop it out of your ass. So next minute you know she pushing. Oh, shit, I don't want to fight my mama, so let me push this baby out, okay? And after 12 a.m., Miss Mary Wilson came out. Coming through the door is her father. Her father wasn't there, okay? Her father wasn't there because he was at work, all right? He got to work. But, you know, many times what happens back in the day, what also happens in my family, is that when you have a mother and she has just had a baby, your big mama allow you and your husband to live in a house. So when Mary Wilson's father came through the door, they put young Mary in his arms. Oh, look at that baby. She's so pretty. Look at her. Ooh, she is pretty. She remind me of this girl I used to hunch. this pretty girl named Mary. Oh, yes, she was pretty. We're going to name it Mary.
Ain't that right, Mary? We're going to name you after a girlfriend. Mary.
Now, Mary takes note in the book to say that most women would not allow a man to name their baby after one of their girlfriends. But it didn't matter because, let's say, Mr. Sam Wilson was a schmoozer. Okay, he was old bad mother hunchy. You heard me? And Johnny Mae, Mary's mother, was infatuated. She was emphatically in love with that man's dirty draws. She would have followed that negress to the moon, and indeed she did. Mary's mother, who is an educated woman, okay, she was a sharecropper's daughter and was able to send herself to college, take care of children, married and divorced 3 times, and was still able to take care of business, right? Now, the situation with Mary's mother, she had some siblings, but the issue was this. Mary's mother, Johnny Mae, was born with a very rare disease that caused her body frame to be very frail. The grandmother was terrified. Oh no, not my baby. Not my baby. Not when the corona is out here. So while the other kids were going off to college and just regular school, elementary and high school and things like that to educate themselves, the grandmother was terrified that Johnny Mae would get ill and die. Okay? So basically, Johnny Mae was illiterate. Now, continuing on with the conversation about the mother and the siblings, okay? They were all engulfed into the church life, meaning Johnny Mae and her younger, I think she had about 4 or 5 siblings. Some of these kids, I'm like, you need to go back to church, baby. Now, I know you can't now, but turn on Creflo Dollar or something, because Jesus is the only thing that can save you right now, okay? But I digress. Because they lived a sheltered life, the mother was the most eager to get away from her mother. Keep in mind, Johnny Mae didn't go nowhere. She didn't experience life at all. At least the other siblings, her younger siblings, were able to go to school, participate in some activities. But Johnny Mae, because she was gravely ill as a child, the grandmother, no, you can't get out my sight. No. Remember I told you that Johnny Mae would follow Sammy to the moon? And that's what she did. She left her mammy. Me and my baby is getting the hell up out of this house. Yes, it was good that the mother helped out in the beginning, but Sam Wilson was like, your mammy too far in our business. Her father was tall, fair, good-looking, and suave, a real charmer. He didn't talk much, so even though he was a friend of my Aunt Margaret's husband, no one could vouch for his background. That's like meeting a nigga online. Been there, done that. You meet a nigga online, he not from the DMV, but he's somewhere from Texas or Alabama or something like that, and you don't know nobody that he know. Ooh, danger. Keep that in mind. Because you want to know somebody that knows somebody of somebody. So, just in case the nigga's an axe murderer, okay, you can find that out from your cousin Shirley. Even years later, my mother's family would know very little about my father. He was from Louisiana, probably New Orleans. He was from Louisiana, probably New Orleans. Most of his family were dead. He'd spent some time in jail. Why? The reasons were never clear. And my mother's family immediately distrusted Sam. Yeah, because your grandmammy know a dirty dick when she see one. Although he had a trade, he couldn't hold a job, had long been a drifter, and worst of all, he was a compulsive gambler. Two proud and religious people like my mother's kin, Sam Wilson, was just plain weak. My mother was always the quietest and most reserved of her siblings. But when it came to Sam, nothing they said could change her mind. She loved him. Yeah, you know how it is. When we get our first dirty dick child, we would jump off a bridge for that. Like most fathers, mine wanted to make a better life for us. So when I was about a year old, we moved to St. Louis. Problem was, St. Louis is known for fast women, liquor, and boogieing. Oh, no. So they only stayed there for a year, okay? Mary's mammy was like, no, okay, I let you name my baby after your girlfriend, but what I won't do is allow you to have all this, vagina temptation. So next we moved to Chicago, where while living on the tough South Side, my father managed to do fairly well. He was working regular, but even when he was on his best behavior, my mother worried. As the old blues song goes, when the eagle flies on Friday. In other words, her father, Ooh, I love these old stories, right? And it's funny because, women go through this right now, but when you hear it back then, it just seems so much, seductive to me, I guess you can call it. But anyway, her daddy would work Monday through Thursday, okay? Friday, that nigga get his paycheck. She wouldn't find his ass again till Sunday night, okay? And most times when he came home on Sunday night, he was broke. What you been spending money on, Sammy? My father tried everything he could to be a good provider. But soon, he was back to his old ways. Yeah, I gotta give it to him, because sometimes them street dudes or them dirty dicks, they be trying. But it be the street calling them, the dirt and the vagina calling them. They can't help themselves sometimes. It's like an addiction. Some people are addicted to the fast life, like Sagittarian men and Leo men. They're addicted to that. If you can find a Sagittarian or a Leo man that got 100% act right in it, put it below. And don't be like, oh, my daddy, girl, your father ain't gonna show you no dirtiness. He ain't gonna show you that he hunching the whole block, girl. So don't even think your daddy is good. No. He was fucking the neighbor too. Well, y'all gonna be mad at me for that. But I lie. So down there in Chicago, right? And Johnny Mae's younger sister and her husband came by, okay? Johnny Mae's younger sister's name was Ivy, okay? She was 10 years younger than her mother and a very petite woman, just like Johnny Mae was, except for Johnny Mae wasn't petite. She was frail because she had that sickness very young. So Ivy, Johnny Mae's sister, and her husband, John L., had just purchased a lovely home on the outskirts of Detroit near Dearborn for $7,100 on a GI loan. Let me tell you something. The cost of housing is absolutely disgusting to me. After 2 years of marriage, they were childless. They felt their taking me back to live with them would relieve some of my mother's burden. She was frightened, down to her last few dollars and still without a job. She promised reluctantly that she would think about it. Oh yeah, she thought about it. She thought about it so much that she sent Mary right down the road with her younger sibling. Any money that my mother might have squirreled away in his absence, Sam Wilson, her pappy, would surely squander upon his return. She loved him, but she loved us too. And so in 1948, when I was 3 years old, Aunt Ivy and Uncle Johnny L. drove me back to the little house at 3800 Bassett Street in Detroit. And my mother returned to Mississippi, where she would live with Grandma and Baby Roosevelt. That's his name, Baby Roosevelt, for the next several years. I was only 3 then, too young to know what was going on, much less understand it. In fact, within a few years, I would forget my real parents altogether and call Ivy Mama and John L. Daddy. A well-to-do family, They would be considered middle class, According to Mary Wilson, their family was the first family on the block to have a color TV, It was pretty affluent, all right? And Mary Wilson's family was, let's say, the most privileged, The father, John L., worked for, it was either, he worked for Chrysler, And her mother worked for Hudson's Dry Cleaning, And when they needed extra money, the father didn't have no qualms about working the second job. Ivy was a stylish dresser whose expensive collection of different colors of fingernail polish and fashion magazines such as Vogue kept me occupied for hours. She wanted me to always look my best and spared no expense on my clothing. My dresses were always ruffled and pleated, crisply pressed and starched, and always worn over drifts of dainty white petticoats. I mean, I was killing it. Lace gloves, lace socks, black patent leather shoes, petticoats. You hear me with my dress. We was probably the best dressed little girls in the church. My grandmother spent so much money on our dresses that we weren't even allowed to throw them away. You wouldn't even want to throw them away. We have dresses in our family that every girl, starting from my oldest cousin, Honey, all the way down to my little sister, okay, that we all wore that same dress because the dresses were so expensive and so beautiful. You can throw little ruffly dresses like that away. These little girls don't wear that no more. They don't know the experience of being real little girls and wearing little lace socks and them little underwear that they have with the ruffles on the butt. Y'all don't know that. My grandmother had this woman who crocheted, right? And what we used to wear was these things called mufflers things, where you would have the coat and then it would be like this fur little thing. You would put your hands inside of it. Muffler. Y'all, if y'all know what I'm talking about, put it below. But you used to stick your hands in it instead of wearing gloves. Okay, and you would wear like these ponchos that were, crocheted, and then they had the little pom. It comes down to when I stepped out to go to the church, y'all couldn't touch me. Gloves, purse, shoes, petticoat, ribbon. Don't play with me. I learned very early on to quietly please and pacify Ivy however I could. This was especially difficult at times because Ivy, Pippin, her aunt, had little patience for anyone or anything. So this is the deal, okay? It's her aunt, okay? But she didn't forget it was her aunt because she was so young, right? But what she's learning is that her mother/aunt, Mother Ivy, okay? Mother Ivy is a very low patience type person. She expects perfection. She expects for things to be done her way, period, okay? So what ended up happening was Mary Wilson got bad nerves because when she didn't do it the way that Mama Ivy wanted her to do it, Mama Ivy would whoop her ass. Now her father, John L., was much gentler. Don't beat her ass, Ivy. Leave her alone, Ivy. Leave her alone. Ivy ain't pay no attention to the husband because basically this is my child, daughter/niece. All right, this is my child, mind your business. Okay. Ivy was sort of a difficult person anyway, okay? She seemed to be wound up, all right? She might needed to take some drink or take a drink or smoke a J. Okay, that's what it seemed like to me because she was way too serious. So one time, little Mary was in the house. She was trained very well to take care of specific chores, because that's what parents do. You give your children chores when they come home from school to keep them busy so they can stay out of BS, right? She finished her chores and she sat down at the bay window. She seen a little girl. Hey, you, come here, little girl, come play with me. The little girl said, hey, how you doing? She said, you want to play dress up with me? Yeah, I want to play dress up. Let's play dress up. Young Mary takes a little girl upstairs to her mother's room, okay? The little girl's like, I don't know. You know your mother a whole blip around here. The little girl, meaning Mary, said, don't worry about it. My mother ain't going to be home for a while. Okay, they would have got away with it if they wouldn't have drank soda pop and watermelon. Okay, it was all over the place, right? Then they went on to try on different clothes. So by the time it got close to when Ivy was supposed to come home, they had hung up all the clothes dirty, right? When little Murray realized that everything was messed up, she's like, look, I'm about to run away. You can come if you want to. I'm about to run away, right? So when they got home, the parents, John L. and Ivy, was looking for Mary because Ivy seen her clothes. She's like, what the fuck is going on with my clothes? They thought that they had been robbed. The father, John L., went downstairs to the basement and was like, no, something's going on here because, all right, nothing's touched downstairs and nothing is missing upstairs in your closet. It just got soda pop and watermelon. They go outside to talk to the neighbors to see what had happened. Okay, did you see anybody in my house? No, but I did see your little girls. They was dressed So cute. Little Mary had some little girl snitching ass neighbor. I can't stand a snitching neighbor. Shut up, snitchy. Shut up, snitchy. Back in the day, you had neighbors to get involved. I seen Nene around there, in the corner with a little boy. You might want to, sit her down and have a talk with her. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened back in the day. When Mary got home, okay, because she got home, she knew that she was going to have to go home and take that beating, right? The father, which he never did, whooped her ass. He did not whoop her ass more so because she got the clothes messy. It was more so because he had to deal with Ivy and her attitude, okay? He whooping her going, God damn it, we've been planning this trip for 2 years and now Ivy ain't going to go, right? Why you just don't buy more clothes? You got more money? Ivy ain't that easy. Mary Wilson says, what I didn't know until years later was that Ivy and John L. were having problems with their marriage. I was too young then to see John L. and Ivy as people. After all, they were very young, newly married, instant parents. Then though all I could think of was the trouble that I had caused. I meant no malice, okay? Now, the way that Mary Wilson feels is that she feels like her actions were something that caused so much pain and hurt that she decided from that point on that she was just going to keep her mouth closed, okay? And it's funny how some small event could happen to you as a child and it manifests in your behavior as an adult, okay? So I think that Mary Wilson is giving us the foresight to know why she did some of the things she did as a Supreme. This summer of 1950 began like every other summer. I could remember with me looking forward to the annual visit from my favorite aunt, Johnny Mae. So, love bugs, before we close out, okay, what I've decided to do, because we're moving and I want to set my room up, or my taping room, perfect. If you are a book club member, if you have a product that you want me to promote on one of my videos, I would like for you to contact me via email, NayRobonYouTube@yahoo.com, or at Uptown NayRob in the DM on my Instagram, okay? And we will talk about it. If you are a member, your fee will be $25 for a sponsorship on one video, okay? Now, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, y'all better have a good one. Peace.